One thing that I can say is, how many takes does it actually take RC Guy Garage, me, to do an intro, to do an outro, to do all those things? I'm gonna tell you right now, it takes a lot of them. Coffee! Good stuff right there. Everybody likes the cup, but that's alright. Percolating some steam on the old Keurig. No, this is not a paid Keurig commercial. Comes the steam. Now this thing should start whipping up. That's some good stuff right there, I'm telling you. RC Guy Garage here, and we're finally taking the chance to break open into the Losi TENACITY DB Pro. It is hands down, without a doubt, my most favorite 1/10 scale open wheel buggy platform that I have literally ever had. That's saying a lot, I'm telling you. The last time we had ripped that thing over at Diamond Dust, it suffered some kind of gear crunching damage or whatever, and I actually, for the first time, stopped and just said, no. That's got to say something. That's got to say that I really like that RC in order to do that. Because what I wanted to do is I probably wanted to, I guess, cost myself less money in the end, but in reality, it was because I have a certain amount of respect for that car. And I know that's kind of a weird thing to say. Yeah, Guy, it's a weird thing to say that, you know, you have a respect for an inanimate object that's just, you know, an RC car. Yeah, I don't even know where I am with this. If you want to see what the damage is, just hold tight because we're going to finally break into it. Normally, I would go after the rear differential. But when I threw it on the bench here, I gave this a little bit of a spin. And what I could notice, which doesn't show up very well on the GoPro, appears as though the cups are, it's really tight to get in there too. It appears as though the cups, the cup bearings, could possibly be the culprit. I am seeing a lot of cup movement. When you watch that front axle, you can see it dip down. Same thing on this side. You can see there's a lot of dipping action. The cups themselves and the dog bones, they seem fine. I'm not seeing excessive... bendage. Bendage. Is that really a word? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pop this open. And I think I'm going to go after the front differential. It's going to be relatively easy. Just going to take out a couple of screws to, you know, take off this little crash bumper thing here. And then take off this front hinge plate. And then hopefully, after I loosen the sway bar, hopefully I can pop that open and get at least a look and see what's going on with the bearings. The thought was to pull the differential out as a complete unit. But I think I just want to see what's going on inside, because from memory, I don't think I've ever taken this front apart. So, yeah, let's just blow this thing apart and see what's going on. So I believe it's just these top screws right here. 1, 2, and then underneath, we've got underneath these 2 screws right here. Should allow this whole section to kind of slide out like that. And while I've got that exposed, just got to pick out the dirt. The impacted diamond dust. This is diamond dust. Maybe I should sell this stuff. A couple of people were saying I should package up diamond dust and sell it with the merch. Pull a Cletus McFarland here. These couple screws out here. So these were loose. can go after these two screws right here, which will take off that front little plate. I think my driver tips are getting worn out. Finally. Pop off this little hinge plate. Yeah, I really don't remember this ever coming apart. Now, I think I can flop this out of the way, or should I just... Yeah, I think I'll just loosen it. Let's see how that is. Back there, can't really see. So it's just got the metal collar, which isn't really all that accessible here. I should have made this alive. Now I can get those screws a little bit better. Wow. Just undo that one, I guess. Then it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Because the bottom is what held that together, I believe. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe. So those screws are different. So between the top and bottom screws, the bottom screws are definitely longer. So I definitely got to keep that in mind. And these are obviously case screws. Now ideally you would want to brush off everything, but I didn't do that. What am I missing here? Oh. Okay. This is a split case down the middle. So this is a split case right down the middle. So that's got nothing to do with this. I mean, it does, but wow, look at all that diamond dust in there. Alright, well, let's just flop that away. Holy smokes, man. That is a lot of diamond dust. Seeing that it's not a split case like I was thinking, so it looks like I need to take off. There's a couple of center brace screws, or should I say like front steering screws, and then there's going to be 2 more case screws underneath. Let the disaster begin. I believe now that transmission should pop out, I believe. Going on hopes and dreams here. And it's being held in. So if I can pop that out, I think. That pop. Okay. So that whole section is coming. There we go. Alright. Take a look at the drive shaft, front drive shaft, that's mint. There is a little bit of play there. There's definitely an excessive amount of play there. So, yeah. And there too. Thinking, that's possibly where my crunching's coming from. I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick bath. I'll be right back. Give this a quick bath in the sink. Definitely has some oil here. Wipe it down with a paper towel. I wonder if I did break this thing open. If this thing has purple or orange, I definitely know that I did. Remember, like I was saying, buy stock and paper towels is definitely going to be your friend. So that could be just regular case stuff, or it could be my grease. So I'm going to let this get nice and hot. Get a little brush right here. Put a little bit of soap on it. Looks a little better. What the? Oh no, I have taken this apart. Oh, that's the clue. This has been apart. That is my clue. Wow. Anybody have any idea what that is? That is a cutoff of a yellow zippy tie because the case had stripped out. It's all coming back. All right, so I did take this apart. Wow. So there's going to be either purple or orange grease in here. All right, well, there's my answer. This was serviced. For once in its life, something was actually serviced. All right. Clean up the evidence. So that was the telltale. So finding that little piece of zip tie was definitely the tell-all that I had taken this apart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buzz those two bottom screws out. Oh God, my driver's turning into junk. Heck, what I'm going to do is I'm going to file that driver, see if that's going to fix it. What I should do is hit it on my wheel real quick. Alright, let's see what we got here. Alright, well, before I pull that apart. See, yeah, that's a lot of slop right there. So that would say to me that those bearings or these cups are junk. Grease-wise, it did exactly... Now see the coating? This is what I'm saying. So that grease... Ooh, listen to the crunchiness. So that grease did exactly what it should. Yeah, look at that. That grease is mint. So in this type of scenario, this grease does exactly what I was hoping. So let's clean this off and see what's going on, because we have got some really excessive, you know, it doesn't feel like, you know what, it's not the bearings, it's the cups. Yep, it's the cups. It's miles for miles. Be right back. So I also do have play in the pinion gear as well. And all of that equates to problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this out a little bit more. Obviously this doesn't really matter, but I'm going to clean it out just because I got to clean it out. But all of this equates to grinding issues, to where when you're really cranking on the power, it's going to pull away from this gear, which looks like this gear was slipping, because I see a little bit of damage right there. So I'm going to get out my Note 8 and get a closer look at this. Alright, there is no magic solution or anything like that. It is just using what you've got to go ahead and clean things out. And what I've noticed is a little bit of an oddity is in this case, it looks like the screws that are put through this way, they actually punched through the case, and the piece of plastic was literally just hanging there. So that's a big deal, because once the screws are in there, it seals it up, but that is definitely something to think about, that's like a little area or a channel where junk can maybe be in. So depending upon the size screw and how far it goes down, so maybe it just protrudes all the way, I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out of my... So after cleaning it, don't know why, but almost seems as though it tightened it up, which doesn't make any sense. There we go. So there's the movement that we've got. So what I want to do is I'm going to pop this set screw out of here and see what's going on. Now that might be thread locked since I've already been here. So I'm going to give it a quick little turn. Doesn't feel like it wants to turn. So I'm going to hit it with a quick douse of heat. Quick little blast. Just like that. Careful of the case. Hopefully that should have been enough. And it seems like it. Oh, that's in there. So it seems like it's pretty tight, so I'm going to go, I'm going to try and pry it off. There's a screwdriver, see if I can get under there. Ooh, watch out. So you got to watch out for that. There we go. Get a little bit of a pry. Happens all the time working with this small stuff, man. I'm telling you. It does. It literally happens all the time. Working with all this small junk. Always stabbing myself here. Alright. So I'm just going to pop this through so I can get a look at it. So it obviously has an inner bearing and an outer bearing. This actually might be alright. I'm definitely not seeing a shim. And I'm just checking out the gear right now just to see if it looks alright. I'm going to give it a quick little... And this gear, I want to say, looks really good. This gear, on the other hand, it looks like it was getting a little bit of something going on there. You can see there's a little bit of something right there, which gives the impression that there was movement and the tooth was kind of sliding or pushing off. But the profile looks okay. I think I'd be alright with that. The bearings feel actually alright. I'm trying to see as if there's movement. I don't feel anything on that one. There's one more bearing, which is this one. I'm going to clean that surface. Kind of looks like there's a little bit of junk in there. Maybe it's alright. It had like an appearance like there was some junk in there. Might have. Almost feels like there's a little bit of movement in this. So I'm going to just pick off the seal and get a look inside the bearings itself. I'll be back. So I did just pick that off. And these bearings look extremely dry inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop off both seals clean out the bearings and repack them. And that might help what's going on here. Just going to stick that in the juice. Stick it in the juice, clean it out, and then repack these small little tiny bearings. If I can get the seal off. Yeah, I'm going to clean those up. So it does look like I was there before, because I am seeing just the slightest bit of orange, but it looks like these needed to be redone. So that's what I'm going to do. Toss some more grease in there. And you can see that's the bearing side. At least I think you can see. I'm going to go ahead and put more grease in there. The right way to do this would obviously be to wear gloves, but you want to just like, it's just like packing regular bearing. And what I'll do is I'll do that side like that. And I'll put just a light little thing on this side. Just like that. That should be fine. Now I'll pick up the seal. Place the seal back in. Same thing. Make sure that that seal is in there. Now that should be a happy bearing. I'm just going to do the same exact thing to this one. Pick up the seal, make sure it's bearing side facing, bearing side facing. I'm going to go ahead and reinstall it into the case. Wipe this side down. I am going to install it on the pinion shaft itself, just like that. And the other thing that I do is I normally take a little drop of oil. This is just what I do. And I'll put a drop of oil in there and run that down like that. This is just what I do. And I'll go ahead and install that pinion. Settle it down. There is the slightest amount of movement, which is fine. Now it's time to break this open. So I'm satisfied with that, but now it's time to go ahead and see what's going on in here. So hopefully these aren't going to break on me. Nope. Ooh, that was loose. These are all loose. Oh no. Oh wow. Yeah, these are all loose. Wonder why that is. Take a look inside here, see what we're looking at. I forgot that's how that gear came off. I think we gotta clean that. Yeah, definitely gonna clean that out. I'm going to just tip it like that and let it drain out. Never mind, I'm backing on other patients. Well, that was fast, huh? Didn't even give it a chance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it in the juice here to hopefully facilitate this junk coming off. Alright, so I pretty much have all the gears cleaned. And I'm just doing the final little disassembly here, because what I wanted to do is I wanted to see what's going on with the cups, to see if it's this that's the actual problem. See what's worn out. So this is the bearing for that side. Give that a little pop off here. Because the bearing needs to be cleaned out. So I'm going to clean this a little bit further, pull this completely apart, and I will be back. So I did want to show where the shim is. So there is a shim that was on the gear side, shimming it away. So what I need to check is because you can see how this shim is. What I want to check is see if I got the shims to possibly shim that bearing away from the case going in this way, because this is telling me that that shim that is right there, which is right here, was technically doing that. It kept the bearing on that edge, but I might need to re-shim. So I'm going to clean this all up, and this is what the pain in the neck is about this, is that I want to shim everything back. The bearing does pop off over the cup, which I wasn't positive, and it definitely does. So I'm going to clean this up and see what's going on here. See where the wear is, because definitely seems like that right there is some pretty bad shifting right there. So it's hard to tell. So this is where, again, I'm going to shift over to the Note 9. And I don't even think I actually shifted over, but I'm going to shift over to the Note 9. I'll be back. So what this is going to do is allow me to show you, I believe, the inside and where I'm seeing wear. So right in there. So instead of it being the cup that's wearing, it's that surface that's wearing, because there's nothing bearinged. There's nothing bearinged on the cup. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, you could definitely see, at least I believe you can see where the slop is it's inside of there. So that would dictate that I'm going to need a new case. And that's unfortunate. I kind of almost wish somehow it was designed so that we wouldn't have to buy a new case, because all that is just pressed in like bushings. And I'm not saying I'm looking, for pressing in bushings, but it's basically, I mean, these are wearing too, but these are more hardened. There's the slightest ridge, which I could get the digital caliper out and kind of gauge it on this edge where it's not worn, get a number, and then get a number where it's riding in. I think I'll do that. My guess is I just wasted a half an hour trying to find something that I misplaced because I organized. Whatever. So I'm gonna just basically deal with the cups being the way they are, because I don't feel that that's causing an issue with the sun gears. Inside, I'm not seeing, like I said, let me just clean this out real quick. Even though these cups are worn, I don't believe it's causing the issue that I was hearing. And I'm only basing that upon what I'm seeing with this gear right here. I am seeing as though it looked like this is where it skipped. So there is a gear, there's a tooth right there where it looks like it may have skipped. Not a lot, because I didn't just keep full triggering it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can shim it a little tighter. Because initially what I was thinking was the sound may have been from those little planetary gears. The other thing too is I noticed these bearings are kind of in need of maintenance. So I'm going to clean these the same way that I did the other ones. So this black mess, these rings, that's what's called liquid bearing. And that is from these seals. So I want to say, after cleaning up this gear, after cleaning up this bearing, it didn't clean up as good as I had wanted, I think because it's failing. I think there is the possibility that it might be too worn. I mean, it does spin nice, but not as nice as I think it would if it was in good shape. So you can see on this one right here just how nasty it is. It's very gritty. Hear that? So I'm going to clean this one up the same way. So here's what it sounds like now. You can hear it. It just doesn't have that smooth sound to it anymore. So the bearings are junk. I mean, not junk. Still can use them. I am just going to repack them. I'm going to repack it on this side. Same thing here. Repack it on that side. Flip it over. Do the same exact thing that I did before. Put the seals back on. Seal it back up. I'm going to see if I can shim or space this ring gear in a little closer. So I just hope I have the shims for it. I think I might. Alright, so I'm going to start putting this back together. Everything's basically cleaned out pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting things back in. Wonder if I should just do this. Just because. I usually do a drop of oil when I do that. And usually it's this way. So there we go. Get that kind of lined up. Just want to see. Drop that gear in place. And of course, it moved. Seems like it went right into place. Cool. These things are kind of a pain. I mean, they are, but they aren't. I don't know. Just gonna go this way, that way, flip it, get the next gear, put that in there, and I'm gonna set this in place now, hopefully. See what happens is these little squares, you have to line up the squares like that, and that one lined up into there like that. Make sure that that flat is facing that way. I am going to totally fill up this diff just the way it should be. Tiny stuff here. Alright. Line this up. Just kind of let it drop in. And I'll just rotate things how they kind of need to get in there. Push that out. Push that into position, and then this needs to be rotated so that it interlocks with that base like that. Yeah, that feels mint. This is the front diff, so I'm going to go ahead and put a lightweight fluid in there. And these tubes, they leak. These are the Traxxas ones. I don't know why it's leaking, but it seems to like migrate out of the tube. So there's that, which is 50K. There's this one, which is 30K. And I thought I had 10K. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just throw some 10K in here. I'm going to go probably just like that. We'll see what that settles like. Now, because of the way the fluid works, this is spinning in this motion. So it slings it out to the edges. So basically what you want to do is, I think, make sure that it's covered just to the top of your crossbars. And I feel that that's probably going to be sufficiently filled. So we'll go ahead, install the little O-ring. And maybe I should just do a little something in here. I usually do an oil, but yeah, I'll just do that. Put that on. Put the cup in through, which, you know what, I'm just going to do this just because, like I said, I usually do like an oil, but I'm going to go just like that. Push that down. Grab the pin. Put the pin in place. Grab the sun gear, drop that down on, and just like that. Now I can go ahead and just flop it into place. And I can go ahead and take the gear. The gear is going this way. Make sure those holes are lined up first, because they're not. Right there, I think. So now I can go ahead and line that up like that. And I'll give it a final tweak by hand. Alright, there we go. So there was a shim on this side, which effectively pushes the gear out towards the pushes the ring gear out towards the pinion. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that shim in there. If I didn't lose it. Would I lose it? Oh, come on, guy. Are you serious? You lost the stinking shim. What? No way. Ah, there it is. Never mind. I got it. So there was a shim there. I'm going to reinstall the bearing. You know what I should do? I'm going to just... Ah, God, that's so tight. On there. See, that's not even all the way down. That is really tight. I think what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and just guess and try to throw another shim on there. Because I'm guessing that it's going to need it. Oops. Why it's so tight. So I'm going to try and get something on that. Maybe a socket. Give it a couple taps. You can hear the sound change when it sets. Same thing on this side. Give it a couple taps. Nice and easy. See how it gets solid? That feels good inside of there. So now, the gear is on this side, which that's nice with Losi. So let's see what we've got for play. So I want to make sure that that's settled down all the way, which it is. It did really click in. And the movement is very minimal, but this is what I'm noticing right here. I don't like that. So I do believe I have shims for that as well. Question is, where the heck did I put them? So for the pinions, what I do have is this is LOSA 6356, which the 5 and 6 is for 5 and 6 millimeter shims. So, and that's obviously the whole size. So, let's see what we got here. A non-Ziploc bag.
The instructions are, oh, good, Ziploc bags. Even better.
A non-Ziploc bag. And it was heat sealed, so I'm going to have to cut it open. Alright, I'm going to grab one of the 5 millimeter shims. Install it on the shaft. Just going to see what this does. So that's in there all the way. And that did take some of that play out of there. So what it did is it pushed the gear into the mesh, like further in. So the movement that I've got on here is so minimal. I think I'm going to be happy with that. I almost feel like, see, one more shim and it might be too tight. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. If I take this little thing here, does this have a shoulder on it that takes away that slop? So what I'm going to do, pop this back out, push in, and I'm going to install the pin, just temporarily. just to see if that slop is gone. That way. That slop is gone. Okay. So that slop is gone. So effectively what we've done is we have taken that pinion gear and slid it into the mesh a little bit tighter. And hopefully what that's going to do is align See, I'm okay with that, man. I feel that's way better. Okay, that's what I'm going with. I'm going to go ahead and install my grease, put this back together, and I'm going to take this out for a... man, I don't know if I should take it out for a blast. You know what? I think I'm going to take apart the rear, too. I'm going to put my grease on there that I like, because this stuff is mint. It really does work very well, in my opinion. It does exactly what I wanted it to do. It just coats. It coats. It slops. It coats and slops. So after once I take this apart again, you'll see what I'm talking about, what this stuff actually does. So I think put a little smackerel inside here. Like that. Feel like I'm going to be happy with that. Yeah. Yep, I do. I think that's going to help out. I think. So I'll get these screws back in place. I lose the screw. Come on, guys, here's. Oh, there it is. And this is the one that's stripped. So, I think I got rid of the little thing that I had there. So I used the yellow before. And basically all I do is, because it's stripped out, do that. Stuff this inside the hole. Make sure it goes to the back, and then take my screw and screw it in. And that should keep it tight. Looks like it opened it up. Why did it open it? Probably because it mushroomed it. Didn't it? Yeah, it did. Dang it. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I mushroomed it to the back. See, I'll show you the stupid things. So, you'll get to see at least what the gears look like. Slathered. See what happened? So it did. It pushed it. So... see how it mushroomed it? That's not what I wanted to happen. So go ahead and put this back on. Man, I should have saved the other one. Well, either way, what you do is you want just a slice to go in there. The other thing I could do is put a drop of glue in there, but there's the possibility that it would seal the case. See, here's the threads that came out. Look at that. there's the threads that it peeled out. All right, maybe this will work. So this is a sliver of Lexan. I didn't say that. All right, let's see if that works. So there we go. So that, I think, yeah, that worked. All right, I'm happy with that. It's plastic, man. You just gotta be careful. Strips so stinking easy. So then there were 2 screws there, and I believe they were these ones. Yeah, that's definitely, that feels good. Yep. That feels good. I think that's going to be mint. The play is like right on, man. So if there was slippage on this, which I believe that was possibly the case, it should be gone now. So now I can go ahead and give that a little bit of a better of a crank. Good. We got a couple screws here. Got 2 short and 2 long. Not too short and too long, you know what I mean. I'll be back. Gotta clean up the space. All right, we've got the car back into place. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot the drive shaft back in. And this is kind of be a pain because you have to push this and under because of how I did this. I made it so that you're kind of like weaseling it in. So you'll need something to grab a hold of this drive shaft, front drive shaft, and pull it up into position. Something like that, while you're kind of pushing this back into place. So let's see if I can do this. All right, so just like we'll shoot into there. So instead I did a shot into diff, and what I'm trying to do is push this into place. So I wedge this up a little bit while pushing forward. It's probably an easier way. Wonder if I just undo these, what's going to happen? Oh. I think that driver's junk. So we just undo this, not all the way. Slide this kind of back and out of the way. Now, that I think will lift up, right? Yep. Alright. Gives it a little bit more flex for lifting. Alright, so that went into place, but the drive shaft didn't follow. So, to pull that back out, get that drive shaft into its slot. Man, maybe I should just take that stinking center brace right out of there. What the heck, guy? Guy, you're always making things difficult. It's the center brace. It's like literally in the way. Just trying to do it in a way that center brace off. That makes more sense. Now I can back that out. And then put the drive shaft where it's supposed to go. I need to rotate it and place it up like that. There we go. Settle that into its spot. Make sure it's actually into its little cradle in the bottom. It's got the little square Now I can go ahead and tighten those down. Okay. Now there's 2 screws that go there and there, but I think I did this first last time. Yeah, I did. So, there's those other screws. So those screws over here. And the way this goes into place, it just slides in. Should probably wipe off the dirt. Slide it into place like that. It's got this little piece here, which I'm really not sure what the point of that is. It's like just like a little piece. It had 2 short screws on top. 2 longer screws on the bottom. That seems like that's stripped out. Awesome. Yeah, that's stripped. Must be a prior stripping. So I'm going to pop that out. And I'm going to jam a piece of the stuff in that hole. I'm going to jam a piece of stuff. Oh my god. Jam a piece of the stuff, which I have lost. Or I'm not. Come on. I thought I specifically put that stuff aside. Oh, it's right over here somewhere. Is that where I put it? Over here? Yeah, there it is. So I'm just going to slice off a small little slice. A slice off a small little slice. Being careful. Being careful. Try it again. Oh my god, never mind. It's just like that. Basically peel it. Stuff it in the hole. And then take the driver. And let the driver do the rest of the work. So there we go. That's better, because now it's tight. And then just rip off the little piece that's just straggling right there. Just take that and rip it off. Now we're going to go ahead and put these pins and the little dog bones or CVDs into place. Definitely got plenty of slop room for that. So go ahead and stuff that in there. Same thing on this side. Stuff that in there. And I should be able to put, you know, I didn't check how these are doing. I think these feel okay. Do they? No, they're seized. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, they need to be cleaned with some steel wool. Oh my goodness. They definitely don't move smooth right now. So I'm going to clean these up. So I still don't have a drill yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the drill bit and just kind of clean it up by hand. Just try to get some of that grit that's in there, hopefully out. Same thing on this side. Just kind of run it in and out. So here's an uncleaned pin, and here's the cleaned pin. I think you can see a difference. So let's see, does that slide in better? Yep, definitely better. So just run this in, clean it up a little bit, and then I'm just going to run this on some sandpaper, and I'll be back. So there we go. Hopefully you can see a difference. Looks nice and shiny. Stick that into place. Definitely moves a lot smoother. Shouldn't need to. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe I do. All right, I'm gonna flip it over. Put those screws in. That bit is really junk. And while I'm right here, I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the sway bar into its little collar. Tighten that up. I've got the little bumperette thing, or whatever you want to call it. It had 2 screws going down in, which were these ones, I think. Looks like it might have been the longer ones. Oh, they're the shorter. Jeez, I forget. Seems like the short ones. Maybe it's the short ones. Yeah. It was the short ones, I believe. Because it is just into a small little piece. So, right in the back side here. Feels about right. Not really. But I'm just going to go for it. I think one of them was stripped. And then these 2 longer screws right there. I think. So yeah, it seems about right. Watch these be the wrong ones. They can't be though. They gotta be these ones. Put this upside down. Get these 2 last screws here. So what this will be is this is going to end up being a separate video. I'm going to do an investigation into the back differential because this video is getting way too long. So this was at least showing you the front differential, the condition of it, how it looked. I apparently did open it up and maintenance it, but I never shimmed it. So what I have done is I have both shimmed the pinion gear to the ring gear, and I've also shimmed the ring gear 1 whole extra shim out. The pinion gear did not have a shim in it, so effectively what I did is I slid that ring gear into the mesh of the ring. Yeah, I slid the pinion gear further into the mesh of the ring gear. So I think that's going to work. So anyways, this is RC Guy Garage, and this is working on the DB Pro. Stay tuned for part 2, which I'm literally going to film right now. So, not out ripping it, but I'm ripping into the diffs. Good thing I don't record all the times that I fall up and down stairs, because, I don't know, man.